We are on to the Turkish. Sorry, I know I put a couple welts on you earlier. To the Turkish get up. Hang in there with me for a little while because this one can get a little technical. When you start your Turkish get up, put that elbow down, sir. You are going to use both hands to grab onto that kettlebell as you roll onto your back and bring it to the midline of your body, and then you're going to press it up with both hands. So the other hand is supporting you just to start it. Now, you're going to put the opposite arm and leg on the ground. They're somewhat parallel to each other. And then this arm that is supporting the kettlebell is going to be stacked directly over top of the shoulder. Notice here, we have a knee that is bent. Yes, this knee is bent because at some point through this Turkish get up, this is going to be the leg that's going to help you move through some of your positioning. Now, the first point of contact when starting your Turkish get up is going to be to first roll onto your shoulder up to your elbow. So Josh is going to roll and pivot, not crunch forward. If you crunch forward, you are going to make it harder. We don't want that. That's going to make it hard. You're going to use your momentum. You're going to roll and punch up onto your elbow. Beautiful. This bottom shoulder needs to be nice and stacked. This shoulder, his right arm, not the one, well, this needs to be stacked too, but the one that's on the ground, you need to think about pushing into the ground with your elbow so that way that lat is engaged and you're not just kind of hanging out at the bottom. Now he is going to pivot onto this hand and rotate that hand just a little bit. Again, he is checking back in with this supporting shoulder that is on the floor to make sure that that lat is engaged, and he is driving the shoulder blade back. From here, he's going to get ready to go for a sweep. Mind you, Josh has those beautiful brown eyes on the kettlebell. He just wanted to look at you because he wanted to make sure you were still paying attention. But his beautiful brown eyes are on the kettlebell this entire time until we get to a certain point, and I will point it out when he starts looking forward. Now he is going to bend this knee, and he is going to create tension in this foot. Don't go yet, Sir Jensen. He is going to create tension in this foot and in this hand to allow him to go for that sweep. So he is going to sweep that leg up underneath, and he is going to get this knee underneath this beautiful peach of his. Show it to us again. Bend the knee, sweep it underneath, and get that knee directly up underneath that hip. In order to get to that position, he created tension in these 2 points to lift him up off the ground so that way those hips drive up to allow him to have room to sweep the leg. Notice his beautiful brown eyes are still on this kettlebell.
Coach, I'm tired.
He's tired, but he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. These eyes are still on this kettlebell. We have a nice stacking of the joints here. Nice stacking of the joints, okay? Now, beautiful brown eyes are on the kettlebell because he needs to make sure that this is beautifully stacked. Beautiful brown eyes on the kettlebell. Whew, this ninja here. Now, he is going to stand up or pivot into this hip and bring his torso nice and vertical. Give it to me again. He's going to pivot into this hip and be nice and vertical. From here, we are going to have a pivot of this foot. So that way we are now in, voila, a lunge position. We want to make sure, okay, he's showing you the pivot again. We want to make sure that this back foot, relax that foot for me, is not here, wah, wah. This is not good because it is not going to give you the support and you need to come out of it. Again, this is a split squat lunge. Looks familiar. From here, you're going to drive the toes into the ground, and you are going to stand up tall. Remember I mentioned how I was going to point out how his beautiful brown eyes are no longer looking at the kettlebell? This is the point. His eyes are straight ahead. So when he is in that split squat position, his eyes then focus forward. Now, this is the midpoint to the Turkish get-up. We are now going to do everything in reverse. So he is going to step back. Yes, he is going to step back with the opposite leg of the hand that is holding it. He is dying here, but it's okay. He shall survive. Now, he is going to open this leg back up, and he is going to slide this hand directly down to the ground as he sits that beautiful round peach of his into his heel. Now, yeah, thank you, Coach. Thank you. This is where the eyes go back to the kettlebell. Eyes are back on the kettlebell. One thing I want to point out, Coach, can you sit up tall for me? Oh. Sometimes when people are coming out of this position to get back to the ground, they tend to reach out. No bueno, because this is a lot of weight up here and you don't want to increase that lever point. So you want to slide this hand down, sit your beautiful peach into your heel, pivoting into those hips. That's the way you want to do it. Now he's going to create tension in this foot and in that hand, and he's gonna slide that leg underneath and sit on that beautiful round bum of his. From here, we're gonna go back down to the elbow as he rotates the torso. Then he's gonna hit the shoulder and then the back. And he's gonna use the other hand to bring it down and roll onto his side. Disqualified. I forgot to tell you what disqualifies you on this Turkish getup. Okay, what we're looking for with the Turkish getup is if you lose control of that kettlebell while going through that Turkish getup, we're gonna have to disqualify you. We're gonna have a little bit of movement, right? There might be a little bit of movement of the kettlebell, right? Of you just controlling it. But if the kettlebell ever goes forward, backwards, any major movements, we unfortunately are gonna have to call it. But it's okay, because you have 2 attempts. So if you want to go again, you have the opportunity to go again. Now, Turkish getup, you have to do the left arm, and you have to do your marvelous right arm. You must do both sides. But that is one thing to keep in mind to make sure you don't get disqualified, because this is a full body exercise where you need to make sure you have control over that kettlebell and the joints are stacked all the way through.